This might be a
Okay,
good
you're
one.
telling a needle story.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's just in the dream. So I'm like 6, and I picture the needle going into my arm, right? And what happens is the needle kind of sticks, right? So they have to tug it out, and what happens is that the flesh just tears off like a chunk of Nerf football.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that's. I know that's terrifying for you, but
No, that's why I explain it. It's like, as an adult, okay? As an adult, I got it.
you should see the doctor. Well, that's not supposed to happen.
You know, it's funny. That's kind of how it played off. But yeah, when I woke up, yeah, the thing just kind of like welled up, right? And so yeah, ever since then, like again, I woke up screaming, right? Ever since then, I've just been like freaked out of needles and that same thing. I get it. I get shots every week, right? It doesn't matter. I just don't look at it.
Oh.
But that memory is just something that it's implanted.
I was like that when I was a
That's
kid.
Patrick.
I'm Pat.
I'm Will.
I'm Jeffrey. Yeah.
I was like that when I was younger, but then my parents made me go through 4 years of allergy torture.
Yeah.
And they would teach you, like back then, they would say, well, no, watch it go in. And then they were right, because eventually you're just like, whatever. So, you know.
No, and I could look at it now. I still don't care. I just.
Yeah. I can't look at x-rays, though. I they creep me out. So.
Wow.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
No, man. If I get shit x-rayed, or like I've done a couple CT scans and stuff, they're like, you want to see your eyeballs? I'm like, no.
Like even when you do the eye exam and they
No.
give you those really
I do-
cool.
No. I do not want to see any of that.
Wow.
So no, I remember when I had my colonoscopy done. They were like, "Oh, you want to see the movie?" I was like, "No, absolutely not."
Just give me the report.
Yeah, no. And I was like, "This got pictures in it." He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Rip those pages off." So and my wife was like, "I'll read it, baby." And I was like, "Okay."
The thing, man, there are things that people don't want to see. Like,
Yeah.
again, you're laughing at my Nerf football story. It's like, that's fine.
Yeah. No.
If it is-
Don't want to see maggots and cheese.
There you go.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
a good thing
Yeah.
too. So.
Yeah.
I was
So-
checking my cheese today. So I found out today that if you buy a big block of Parmesan, which I have been, the last time I bought a big one, so like a wedge. So because I use it so often, it's got all these little crystals on the outside of it now, and I was like, oh, that's going bad. That's not. No, those are flavor crystals. It actually is supposed to do that. So it's like, huh. Anyway.
What kind of flavor?
Huh.
What? Like
It's-
the moisture gets pulled out
Yeah.
and freezes?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so it's
yeah.
just like,
It like solidifies. So yeah, and that's what makes it extra tangy. So I was like,
Did you try one of the crystals?
yeah, they're really really salty. So yeah, I thought it was mold at first, but then I was like, no, mold is green. I was
Yeah,
like,
it's
oh
got
yeah,
change
yeah,
color.
it's got to change color. So,
But yeah, I'd be a little worried too. Even if
I was, so that's okay. I made Alfredo anyway. I
There you go.
was like, it'll melt.
fair enough.
Anyway, speaking of maggoty cheese.
No, actually, that's not speaking of maggoty cheese. That's just good cheese. That's
It was
just
good
regular
cheese.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
good cheese.
Yeah.
Well, I watched him pull the needle out of my arm and then stick it back in. That one hurt, but I'm still okay.
No, it's all right. I mean, the other thing that I don't want to do is I don't want to flinch.
No, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to flinch. I also, I mean, this is the same thing. Like at the masseuse, you know, when they yell at you for the 5th time, it's like, dude, just fucking relax. You know, and it's
I am relaxed.
I answered that too. It's like, no, that's just how I said, you know, or whatever. It's because this would be so much easier, you know. And there are times where I'm saying, I'm trying to. This is as far as my arm goes. And other times where I'm like, yes, but it hurts. So I'm
Resisting. Because
it's like, this is an autonomic response, man.
Yeah, I get the flinching thing. Have you ever had a blown vein?
Nope.
It sucks. So I didn't even flinch.
I've
They
only
did that.
heard about it, but
Yeah, they did that to me. Maybe like, I don't know.
how do you blow a vein?
So it's when they're drawing blood and they go all the way through the vein. So yeah, And then it's not dangerous because, it's not like you're leaking blood into your arm, so there's no internal space, but it gets like really swollen and really like hard and it's sore. So it just sucks. And it stays that way for weeks.
Oh.
It does not heal very quickly. It sucks. It's like ripping a toenail off, man. It takes forever.
Oh, wow.
It takes forever to get ready, to get back to like, oh, it feels normal,
Oh, I don't ever want to lose a fingernail with toenails.
You've never lost a toenail?
I've lost, not a toenail,
No.
fingernail. You lost a toenail because of me.
I've lost a bunch.
I've lost a couple.
Well, I only caused one, so I guess I don't feel bad.
It's not about caused. I mean, sometimes it happens. It's.
No, mine were all work related, so that's when I got steel toes finally.
All right, fair enough.
Were they recommended before, and you're like, I don't need that.
No, I mean, dude, you have to like be really clumsy or stupid to get hurt at the airport, or you just have to work there long enough where it just kind of happens. So, and that's kind of what, Eventually, I lost like 2 toenails in 1 year. I was like, "Fuck this! I'm getting,
Never again.
never again." Yeah. Because sometimes you lift something, it's like, that's too heavy.
Yeah.
It's way too heavy. Got to put it down. Oh, right on my foot.
Oh, I wasn't talking. Okay, so I thought you were also. You get to that point where you do recognize, like, yes, I could power through this, but I have to find a smarter solution.
This will hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. This will limit the number of times I can do.
Yeah. Yeah. This was the other one. This just came to me the other day, so I thought I'd share it. We were talking about the misconceived spreads of the AIDS virus back in the other day,
Oh, yeah.
where if you put your mouth on the
With the drinking
fountain, you get AIDS. The other one that I forgot, this was the rumor that went around but never actually happened to anyone, was we didn't play. So there's the drinking version of quarters, where you bounce it into the thing and you take the shots and all that stuff. But there was the other version of quarters
The
that we used
Knuckles
to.
one?
Yep, the Knuckles one. And
Oh, yeah.
there was a rumor back then that some dudes at Skate City caught AIDS from playing quarters.
Skate City.
That's good.
I'm worried about the toilet seats.
It just came to me the other day. I was like, I remember quarters. I remember flicking it because I was thinking, like, what are the test of manhood games like coming up for boys at your age? What do they have?
That one.
They don't play that, do they?
No, they were doing the where you bend the hands backwards.
Mercy.
Mercy.
Oh, Mercy. Yeah,
Okay,
I remember
okay.
playing Mercy.
That's right. That's
And then
right.
I tried and then I taught them the where you stand a shoulder length apart and you hold your hands
The
out
game.
and you
Oh, yeah.
and they got all into it and they were supposed to start spreading it through school, but I think they fizzled.
The kids don't touch each other like they used to, man.
Oh, that's
It's
true.
kind of creepy, yeah.
What about do they still play slaps?
Oh, dude, we didn't even play slaps.
The hand.
My fucking
Yeah.
dad knew that game,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
So
Do they still play this one?
I haven't seen them do it.
Because you get to tee off on.
Dude,
on
I
three.
didn't even play that game when I was a kid. My dad had to teach me that every summer. Because nobody at school ever fucking played that.
No,
we played it.
Yeah, okay, man. Yeah.
it's not a hard instructions.
I know, but it was like, all right, we do it a few times. It's like, is this supposed to be fun?
That's cool.
I guess. It was something my dad wanted to do. So.
It's weird that it's coming from your dad because he's gonna beat you, and I presume that he didn't go too hard on you when you got to 3, right?
I don't remember. So.
Because that was the thing, is if you flinch 3 times, then you get the grand slap.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
that's fine.
sorry, man. Yeah, no, my dad had all kinds of weird street games like that you play with no toys. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Kick the Can is famous for this. All you need is a can and some dudes.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually really quite fun.
Yeah, he tried
It's
to
a
teach
good
me how to
game.
play like jacks and marbles and all kinds of like New York weird street 50s games.
Yeah.
So I was like, Dad, can we just play baseball? He's like, well, yeah. Let's just do that. So,
I don't think my kids ever tried on a baseball glove.
My daughter and I did for a little bit when she was younger. She had a little one.
My daughter
So,
has.
Yeah. Oh, your son has it? Yeah.
My daughter wanted her own glove and all that stuff. And I asked my boy if he wanted one. He's like, nope. Don't you want to try? Just so that you can... Nope.
Okay. I mean, if you just don't have an interest, don't force it. It's fine.
Nope. All right. So be it.
All right, well, you're going to teach a Bloody Knuckles? Because that game sucks.
That game does suck.
It's so pointless.
We used to play that. It's the tables at Saban all the time. So
Well-
you used to play that. Yeah.
Bloody Knuckles was actually the game where you punched
Yeah.
them.
Oh, I'm talking about the quarters.
Oh, yeah. Like, quarters was a...
No, I never played
routine
Bloody
thing.
Knuckles.
Well, it sucks. It hurts everybody.
Yeah.
People didn't play me too often.
I would...
Just my knuckles were just
I
like...
know, you got
those
razor
Stick
blades.
right out, yeah.
ridiculous.
So, yeah, people didn't play me.
I think I've hit most of them. If there's any more than you could think of.
I'm sure there
Those were the
is.
popular ones, man. I mean, and I'm not talking about just the things where you get somebody where it's
Charlie
like-
horse.
Yeah, exactly. Like or like punch
Have you ever
buggy
played
or-
Hertz Donut?
Yeah.
Punch bug.
Punch buggy or slug bug, depending.
Man,
on
you
the-
learn that game one time and you're like, fuck off.
Oh man,
yeah.
dude, I knew every time we got in the car, man, it was on.
Yeah, no. That's when the car gets pulled over and my dad says we're turning around. So, yeah. So,
Yay,
"Do we
no
wanted,
dentist today."
no, we really wanted to go to Tickle's Playport. Not today.
Look, that's a fair. There's no problem with that. I'm just saying that your crowd really determines whether or not that's being.
That's
played.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we did not. We did not beat on each other. So.
I know the guys on the rig taught me. They taught me a couple ones that they knew from when, like they had this thing called milking the mouse.
Never heard of it.
I hadn't heard of it either, so I guess this might have been a Wyoming thing. But basically, it's like you get in like a hand wrestling thing, and the whole thing is to basically get somebody's like.
Oh yeah, no, I learned that one in Nebraska.
Yeah.
I know
They
what you're
call
talking
it milking the mouse. Is like, what the hell are you talking about, dude? And he's like, here, let me see your hand. And I was like, Jesus Christ, that hurts.
Yeah.
We just straight arm wrestle.
Arm wrestle. Yeah, see, that makes sense. I think I'm about out. Yeah, I think that was like the big ones.
Some of those guys.
We used to Indian leg wrestle. So,
I don't know this.
oh, well, you lay down side by side like this, and you lock the back of your knees and see who can flip the other one over. Never did that?
No.
Oh,
No,
man,
yeah, we used to do that in
Yeah.
Scouts all the time. So, used to do it in Scouts
I
all
mean,
the
that
time.
definitely sounds like a scout thing. Okay, I'm just trying to
Totally.
picture. So you laid.
Head to tail, head to toe, side by side, head, like this.
Uh-huh.
Lock your back, lock your ankles together like this. And then see who can flip the other guy up, force the other guy to come up. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Sounds hard.
It is hard.
Okay.
Yeah, especially if the other guy's way taller than you.
Oh,
So,
yeah. You probably have to have classes in that. Like weight classes.
Jeff, when there's 16 of us in the troop, there's
Yeah.
no classes. It's
Okay.
just do you get beat or not?
Oh, you know what? And that's what do they call the game where you'd go on the monkey bars and you
Chicken.
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
We used to play chicken.
That's the one where you had to
Did
reach
chicken
up
all
and
the time.
pull the other person down.
Yeah,
the ledge,
yeah, yeah.
right? Okay.
That was banned.
That was absolutely banned.
That was another part. That was another good reason to do the jungle gym on the other side of the school. That there were no eyes on you.
Oh my god.
But especially before they had any pea gravel underneath it. Remember when it was just
Just
fucking
saying.
yeah, not even sand, it was gravel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So people
Well,
get
that's-
fucked up on it. So,
That's funny that you say that. Yeah, where Chicken was 80s band,
chicken was definitely 80s band.
which
So, so
God,
was
there's no way you can even come close to
do
doing
that. And
today.
what was the one where you used to clothesline people on the slide? There was a thing.
what you That all
There
right.
was a thing where you would try and stop the guy from getting to the bottom of the fucking slide. So,
Okay,
and that
yeah,
got banned in the 80s.
So
Knock one kid's retainer out, it's game over, man.
well, you have to remember, and again, you had.
Red Rover got
I was gonna
banned.
say, yeah, you had to have the guys for it, but Red Rover was super banned.
Dude, nah, I played that in like 7th grade. So we went to, there was one time where like everybody in Compass, we went over I got clotheslined so hard that I saw stars in that one because that was like, it was Red Rover, and then I was like one of like the last 5 guys left on a team. And so I was like, well, I'm fucking breaking this motherfucker.
They just call your name or what?
No, it's everybody comes over.
Okay,
So
Oh, right,
once you get down to so many, it's like, you know, Custer's Last Stand. You know,
Right.
you just charge, and I was just barreling for it, man. And like, apparently one person saw it, the other person did it and turned this way and just brought that arm up enough, and man, I was out cold. So. I was out cold, so I could have broke my neck.
Oh, look, man, I that is
To
one of the
play that all the time in Scouts. That was not banned in Scouts.
not
That was a test of manliness.
I'll say this: of all games that we've talked about, that is the one that I can see the playground banning first, and with good
yeah.
reason.
They're all banned.
Almost
you
all of
can't
them, man.
touch
You can't do none of that.
anything.
There's tons of shit they don't have. Like my daughter's school never had tether balls in it, so they didn't have. Well, they had some playground equipment, but it was all that play school plasticky shit.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Nothing
You know-
high speed, low drag.
No, there's nothing like that. You know, the slide has bumps in it. Those are speed bumps.
Right.
You know, yeah. And then, like, the cargo net is, like, stretchy. So, you know, it's not made out of fucking chain. Fucking kill you. You know? So, and the same thing with the swings. So, you know, the swings are impossible to twist.
And they're not as high.
They're not near as
They
high.
do not make them.
Wait, what do you mean it's high? Like, you mean the posts don't go up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
either they do or they got a lot of chain on them, and so you can't get going as high on them. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Because it used to be you like the ones at Rudy. You still have to climb up, way up.
Oh,
to be
yeah.
able
Well,
to
you
get the
flip
top.
it over like 8 times and ring it up a little bit so that you get up higher, so you get more torque on that motherfucker.
I mean, like at my kids' school,
remember
I
that?
can jump and reach the top of the bar.
Oh, that one. Oh, yeah.
Oh, instead of having to kind of do
Yeah,
the two-arm
the
Donkey
shimmy
Kong
all the way
Jr.
You
up.
could have
Up to the
shimmy
top,
it. There,
yeah.
there was no kid in Rudy who could reach both of those things at the same time. You'd have to jump
You
up.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and then you just climb the Y. Yeah.
Yeah, because those were tall. They're still tall.
They are
So
tall.
compared to
We'll
like
climb every day.
yeah,
it's still
compared to like the ones at my daughter's
Yeah.
school, which is just up the street from that. You know, and then there's a lot of things that they don't have. You know, that we used to have. Like,
Well, yeah, when I first got to Rudy, these did not last long, but there were still teeter-totters near the kindergarten side when we were there. They did not last long.
shit, man, they had teeter totters at Penrose until like when I lived there not too long ago. They were
Yeah.
still there, and they had they actually had bona fide balance beams down there too.
Yes, they did.
So they were
Those
up
were-
high. So
And they also had a balance beam
That
that,
had 3 segments.
Yep.
that
yes, the
wobble.
correct, that was where you played chicken.
Ah, yeah. You're trying to toss the dude off.
Uh-huh.
yeah, that was banned. I remember when they installed those at Rudy. So when I started at Rudy, there wasn't. I mean, were you guys there when they
Yeah.
still had the tires there?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So eventually they cleaned a lot of that shit out. So
Well, because they're like,
and they put all the pea
Yeah.
gravel in, and that we were going to school when that happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and they got rid of some of the old because they had like. What was that one thing? It was just like 2 bars and then a crossbar across the top, and you're supposed to do this, you know, like hand over hand, but it wasn't monkey bars.
Right.
You remember that?
Yeah.
yes, essentially, it was like just a glorified like pull-up bar.
But it was longer, yeah.
Yeah.
So they pulled that out though, and they replaced it with that chain mesh thingy. That
The magic carpet.
well, the magic
No, the
carpet
magic
was
carpet.
rigid,
The
but
cargo
remember
net
that
was
cargo?
the
cargo
Yeah,
net,
that
yes.
thing. I'm surprised that's probably killed a few
It's
people.
still there.
Yeah. Well, then maybe it hasn't killed anyone. So, otherwise, it would definitely be gone.
I had some problems with it when I was there. I
did
can't
too.
imagine everybody else is just cool with it.
Well, I remember that's the one where you play King of the Mountain. So you get up on top and kick people.
Do that on the magic carpet too.
Yeah, but it had two things. So it had two modes.
It did. Well, if you want to talk about like, so the magic carpet I always considered way more dangerous because that thing encouraged you to like step across it,
Oh, yeah.
and like a slip or a bad thing, like your leg goes through, you fall forward. You know, there. To me, that thing always seemed way more dangerous.
Yeah, you could easily break your neck on that thing.
Yes.
So
But no, that's
How you learn.
that's how you learn, yeah.
agree,
All it
yes.
takes is one kid.
if they're cool.
They're not cool, Jeff.
Not if they're cool. Not if they're kind of like, nah, this was my fault. You know. And that thing that you described over there, that dangerous dumbass thing of spinning and torquing the seat.
You
And
were,
the
you were
way-
locking the links, to do that. Yeah.
but they would like dislodge as you were on the
Yeah,
swing.
and sometimes you get your fingers caught in that motherfucker. I remember this. Yeah. So
I don't think there was never a merry-go-round at that park.
nope,
There was never one. But that would have been
There
the
was
first
one at
merry-go.
the-
That
it's still there.
Yeah.
is still
There's two
there.
of them. There's
Oh,
two of
is
them.
there?
Yeah.
They are awesome. Those are like super high-speed ones.
Dude, we spent hours on that
Oh,
motherfucker after walking home from school trying to get each other to vomit. So,
Or see if you can get it fast enough to launch somebody.
Well, yeah, we were trying to do that
Right.
like German spinning, fucking floor thing. So, but it's got all these things you can hang on to, so it's never gonna work.
The
So,
German spinning floor.
you've never seen that? They do this at Oktoberfest all the time. So they have this floor that's a merry-go-round that's sloped up like this. Okay, it's very gradual, like 15-degree slope,
Okay.
and it spins, but it's motorized.
Oh,
And so the whole idea is to get fucking blitzed, all right, and then get in the middle of this thing, and then they start spinning it and see who lasts the longest. That person gets free drinks.
oh.
So
okay.
sometimes they do it with ladies. It's required for them to wear dresses. In traditional German Bavarian Oktoberfest
Fair
fashion.
enough. Okay.
So you never seen that?
I
No,
have not,
this-
that
But
sounds
this, I mean,
fun.
this is stuff that like it's
Oh,
modified
yeah.
for like funhouse shit. That's where I've seen stuff like it.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, but it's an actual thing. They had one up at Oktoberfest in Brack a couple times. We've been up there. I was way too drunk to get on it though. So
Oh, fuck that. No, the thing at the funhouse that I always hated the most was it's that barrel thing that is you walk through it and it's just rotating.
I have never actually been to a legit funhouse.
Oh man,
I don't even know where there is one.
I remember that thing fucked me up.
The Colorado State
Yeah.
Fair's going on. I bet you it's there.
It
I
might,
think that's
do,
right.
do they just piece it together out of
It's kind of mousetrap.
It's the travel.
Oh, it's a travel one. Okay, so I've actually never been to the carnival over.
Oh, I've been to that
Powers.
one. Yeah.
Never been to it. With the traveling carnies and the fucking bubblegum with duct tape rides.
Yeah, and a
Yeah.
lot of the dudes that work over there are fucking on crank and stuff like that. But
Nice.
yeah, that thing that some people they just walk right through it no problem. But that shit fucked me up.
I have never been in a fun. I went to
I
one.
walked through it, no problem.
Yeah. I went
Would you
to
just naturally get it or what?
Yeah, you just walk. You just walk into like an angle.
I guarantee you that thing would make me barf. So the only fun house I've ever been into was before it burnt to the ground. Buckskin Joe's had a quote unquote fun house.
Whoa.
Okay, yes.
Oh.
So, well, I used to gunfight there.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was like a long time ago. But they had a bona fide fun house, and it was a nickel to get in. And all it did was it was just a house where you go down this hall, and then there's a room where the floor is slanted at about a 30-degree angle, but it starts like this, and then it goes that way gradually. And then, of course, there's a door on the other side, and you can barely tell. Okay?
Okay,
And so you
okay.
kind of navigate across this thing, and you go out that door, and then you take a right, and it's over.
Not even the house and mirrors. In
No, there's no mirrors or
Wow.
anything. It's just this leaning floor. It was like I want my nickel back.
Yeah, you're like, well, that's a good first step. When does like phase 2 begin?
That's
There
not
is no
a
fake
house.
news.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the hall.
It's a fun room. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got other ones you probably have too with the actual House of Mirrors.
Oh,
and, yeah.
I've never done that.
Like
I've never done a haunted house either. Have you ever done one of those?
I did one that was pretty lame. And then we did a haunted maze.
That's what I mean, like one of those.
Yeah, we did a haunted
Yeah.
maze.
never did the maze. I did a house, and I mean, it is what it is. It's like there's a bunch of like theater students in here. And, for some people, and oddly enough, considering how jumpy I am, I'm surprised that I didn't go nuts. But it was just that actually, like the phoniness of it was like totally okay by me.
It's like watching something on TV. It's like, you can't hurt me. You're
That's-
not allowed to.
Well, I understand that in the new ones now you put on a tag, which is like the if you have it, they can touch you. If not, then. And look, when I went there, like the girls were fucking scared stupid. So I'm not.
Yeah, my ex did not make it through the maze.
Well, okay, there you go. So I mean, there was something fun where it's like, this. I'm having a good time because I'm laughing at you. But I imagine like a lot of parents have that with kids too, where it's like, yes, I get you're struggling, but it is funny.
All those teenagers are high in there, though, man.
Okay, and the thing was, I went at that time. I went with a black guy, Robert, and he was twice as scared as they were.
Oh, did he have that really? Like Pat had this. He had this like girl scream, and I mean, he was a monster man, but he was like, ah! You know, and it was partially real, but then he would kind of like zhuzh it up a little bit.
Just a little.
Yeah.
He was actually scared. Yeah,
Okay,
but yeah,
right.
that he did. Well, and let's also qualify. Pat was Olympic boxer alternate.
He was an Olympic alternate boxer.
So just so you get the idea of what kind of guy this
he
is.
was the most cut guy that I have ever known. So when he was in his prime, and I mean,
Damn.
and he was a heavyweight. He was not fighting no featherweight guys.
Wow.
But yeah, that was the thing was Robert was screaming as much or where I mean like it actually like getting the hands up.
I took all the fun out of it. I was just like, da, 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 da. Ah,
I'm walking.
da, da, da.
I'm walking here.
Like I said, I was having fun because they were screaming, but I was like, it's all right. I never have to go to one of these again. It's okay. I never did they kept doing them. They were doing like corn mazes and stuff. I'm like, hey, I didn't get caught.
That's
Like,
what
I did a corn maze in Nebraska, so they would do those fairly regularly, actually.
I imagine, yeah.
Yeah. So
In Nebraska, yeah, I'm guessing
That's what I was saying. Like,
the corn huskers.
what do we have?
State, yeah,
Yeah.
we got corn.
we got corn.
We're gonna do something with it.
yeah. Like where I was, it wasn't like the corn's different there though, man. It's not like
not
corn
the
on the
field
cob. Yeah, but it's not corn on the cob corn, so it's like fuel corn. And so they're smaller, but the
yeah.
stalks are a lot bigger.
Ah,
And so it's almost like walking through bamboo. So it's interesting. So
But they'd have the maze like cut.
yeah, they'd have it
through
all cut through it, and stuff like that. Yeah. They had interesting fairs up there. So I've been to the state fair here a couple times. It's always kind of like great.
I'm never going back. It's 10 degrees hotter there.
I know it's hot, it's crowded, parking blows down there, and then like it's like some things that are cool there, but then there's a lot of stuff that's just it's like give me my funnel cake and get me out of here. Kind of thing.
You can
Like
get a funnel cake at the Rockies.
you can't get a funnel cake on the Rockies, but I got to tell you, man, I am a hot dog and peanuts guy at every ball game, and I don't and beer, and so like funnel cake on top of all that is recipe for a bad time later. Yeah.
right.
So
You know the sound they make in the theme park video game.
right, yeah.
And then all the kids don't like
Ew. This is when you gave them too much soda, so then they go in the bounce castle and barf all over it. Yeah.
I was
So
like, where else do you get funnel cakes though?
You can get them in Manitou. So
Yeah, that's true.
yeah. Shit, man, I haven't been down the arcade there in a while. So
You went not too long ago, right?
yeah.
We went to Manitou. We didn't go to the arcade.
Oh, okay.
What the hell did you go to Manitou for then?
We went to find a restaurant that William liked because he went there with his mom once, and it's
Which one was
closed.
it? Oh,
So
never mind.
And then so we just wandered around up there for a little bit, and
Looked at the tchotchke bullshit.
There's a lot of tchotchke bullets. Did you buy some Indian jewelry?
Yeah.
they got some rocks.
We got
Lots
rocks.
of rocks.
Okay.
Okay.
There's a bunch of rock stores up there, so
There are rock stores.
they loaded up on the amethyst because that's what their moms. So they were like covered for Christmas and birthday.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Knock this stuff
Previously
out.
planned,
You're
yeah,
done.
You're done. Yeah.
Good job, guys.
Rocks.
No, that's cool. I've seen like worse things to get into.
Yeah.
I was so earlier on. I was scoffing at the cost of some shit, right? So, Regina was showing me this like bandolier of, and I mean it is a full like bandolier of perfume, right? And I was like, what is that, and why do I care, right? I'm like, I'm not trying to be rude about it. I was just kind of like, this is so far beyond the realm of. I was like, she was asking me like what I knew about this shit. I was like, I know about some colognes. I know that there's one level, okay, where it's like $25, right? Then I know there's the next level. I've bought one thing in there, right? It was Paco Rabanne's 1 million, and it's shaped like a gold bar, right? But I don't know about anything like beyond that tier. So she broke it down for me, and then she started showing me this shit on the website, right? Of the things that she had like 30 of, like just on this bandolier, which is
Is this
nothing.
your student?
Yeah, yeah.
They have this in Russia?
Oh no,
No,
she's in
here.
San Francisco.
Yeah.
She goes to
Oh,
Russia now.
okay, okay.
And she's showing me some of the stuff on the website, and like I saw 220 euros for something like this.
Yeah.
And she was looking at my face because I stopped talking because I was doing the math.
Yo,
And I was like, she's like, "What's your problem?" It's like, "You look like my husband." I was like,
thousands of
"How
dollars.
did you spend all this on like? You could wear one every day of the year, and it would." And she's like, and he didn't like it either.
Yeah, man, yeah. Hobbies. Some hobbies are expensive.
Well,
Yeah.
this is what I found out. I never knew about this because evidently there's like a white trash stock market of perfumes as well. Because, like, this is all. It's like I finally got it because I was like, this is all like limited edition shit. So when you get this, if you don't want to keep it, you eBay this stuff and there's like limited. I'm like, of perfumes?
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I knew about that.
Did you?
Yeah, I got a bartender who does that. So
Oh no shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
she always smells different. So it's like this is blah blah blah. It's like cool. So
Well, it doesn't. I mean, that's the thing. I was like, I wasn't trying to. All this stuff has like distinctive, like not what I'd be looking for tones, right? Because I try to explain. I was like, look, there's something nice about like when a black woman hugs you, where you end up smelling differently at the end, right? Because they like they pour it on, that kind of thing, and you have this fun little like fruity scent afterwards. Everything smells like Kool-Aid,
Yeah.
right? And then when you get to the stuff that like you're talking about here, it's like there are like earth tones and there are like
my sense of smell blows.
My
So,
sense
of
yeah,
smell-
mine's
like, this
terrible.
is-
So it's got to be really thick for me to even notice it. So
and if
you
it's
know.
that thick, it's usually not good.
Oh, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't think I've ever smelled anything bad on her. So, it's never come in and smell like motor oil,
No,
so, yeah.
no, and that was the same thing. I was like, if you're making this for what guys like, it was like peanut butter. And,
Yeah, she makes her own too sometimes.
oh, there you go.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just this. It's like another hobby. Like I've noticed that, some people have like insanely, stupidly expensive hobbies.
Yes.
But
Yes.
it's like, oh, that's your thing. Okay, that's fine. Like I know a guy, and I haven't seen him in a while, because he's quite old. He might be dead now.
Things happen.
These things do happen, but his hobby was to make miniature tools out of gold. He was a jeweler. And so he would make working like lathes, like not like little hammers, but like a miniature sewing machine. Okay, and he'd bring a pocket full of these into the bar every now and then, and we're talking thousands and thousands of dollars worth of shit just sitting in his pockets, you know, kind of thing. And we're like,
Whoa.
I know, man. But then you look at his craftsmanship, you're like, fuck, man, you would want to make this out of gold, you know?
Wow.
So
Just because it's a softer metal?
just because it's more challenging.
Does he
you
sell
know,
them, or
yeah.
is it just his?
He sells some of them, but then if he makes a really good one, he keeps it. So, and it's just like, Ralph, that is the weirdest hobby I've ever heard of. He's got a fucking YouTube channel on it.
How the
So,
hell do you get started?
I know,
Like,
man.
you're like,
Yeah.
huh,
So
I got this random piece of gold I need to figure out what to do with.
Yeah. Well, and he was
Great
telling me
question,
about
man.
making all these, like, he was telling me, like, how to make platinum, you know, and stuff. I was like, wait a minute, don't you put the two things in the box in the transmogrifier? You know, but it's just, it was like, okay, fine. And I mean, you're talking about a guy who's very unassuming. You know, he dresses like, you know, he just bought everything at TJ Maxx like 6 years ago. He drives a piece of shit for a car.
Yeah.
You know, but then he's got this hobby. And so, and that,
Solid gold in your
of
pocket.
making things out of solid gold.
God,
Yeah.
wow.
And it's just like, that's rando. And so, yeah, when someone tells me they spent thousands of dollars on perfume, it's like, okay.
And that's
You could have asked
Yeah.
us a million guesses.
we could live to be 500.
Never could have
Yeah,
come up with that one.
We'd need at least a hint.
Oh, yeah. No, that
Maybe two
I've
or
never
three.
met
My
anybody
mind
like
would
that.
have never even
Not even a little bit.
gone
Yeah.
to that as a concept.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that. I guess that was the thing that threw. Because I know that people can spend a lot of money on like model trains, right?
Sure.
But even then, it seems like there's a. Is there a cap? Like when you're buying an engine, right? Is there? Will you see like $1,000
Oh,
engines?
fuck
or-
yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Dude, there's like precision made, handmade ones that are tens of thousands of dollars. So they're made out
Okay.
of brass. So,
All
you
right.
know, they got individually machined parts. I mean, they even make live steam miniature engines. These are actual steam engines that operate just like real steam
Those
engines.
I have seen.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a YouTube
cool.
thing. I've seen that.
You can make. Well, I'm not talking about the ones you ride on. I'm talking about ones that are this fucking big.
yeah.
You know, and I mean the amount of engineering that it takes in order to build something like that is just bananas. And so if you want to buy it, you know, I mean,
Well, I mean, it's later. Miniaturization is later on the Civ tech tree for a reason.
it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially if you're doing it by hand.
Yeah.
You know, and then on top of that, there's a humongous collectibles market for like old Lionel trains. And I mean,
Right.
fucking Lionel trains are, I mean, you can find some American Flyer sets that are probably worth as much as like the most expensive comics from the era. So
Yeah.
because they're rare. Okay. So because what do you do with that? You beat
play
the
with
shit
them.
out of it. Yeah, you try and get the dog to ride it, you know.
Yeah.
You try and build a railroad empire in the driveway, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and your dad runs over a couple of your cars, whatever. You know, so but then if you have one that's like mint in box from the late 1930s, it's like, "Oh, here's your mortgage." Yeah.
Well, I mean, in the same token, that's why, like, if you're going to buy Amazing Fantasy 15, the first appearance of Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
They had a huge print run back in the day, right? And they sold them. This was before the direct market where it went to the middleman, hobby stores. They were on newsstands and grocery stores and stuff like that. Tons of copies, right?
Yeah.
But nobody thought to keep that shit. They're
No,
like,
yeah.
most people, it's like, I read it. It goes in the trash. They treat it like a newspaper.
Yeah. Well,
Right?
my dad said the same thing about baseball cards back in the day.
yeah.
He said you trade them for a year and then you wait the next year because you can get new ones.
Yeah.
So
You eat the gum.
Yeah.
That's why they used to call them bubble gum cards.
Yeah, you eat the gum and, you hang out to them and you trade them for a year and you build your fantasy team because that's how they used to do fantasy football. So, yes.
That's cool.
That is cool. So, and then next year is like, I need all new sets of cards. And so the old ones become bicycle. You turn your bike into a motorcycle.
Well,
So-
and then you could do the most heinous thing. It's like, well, I got a whole lot of these. Mom, get me a rubber band. And
Oh, yeah. Yep.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
they definitely don't go in a sleeve book. So, yeah.
such a thing did not exist at
Did
that
not
time.
exist.
Yeah, that's the kind of the weird thing because I was like talking about like collector sets. I was like, let's talk about the '90s when people were trying to recreate things that they thought would increase in value.
Yeah.
And now everyone knows to keep it, so they all have a whole bunch of hollow foil shit.
Right.
And first appearances of this and all this other stuff didn't take off. They're better cards and comics than ever. Don't get me wrong. The actual quality of these things, and do you still occasionally buy yourself a pack of cards of recent shit?
No.
Okay.
I don't waste my money.
Well, no, all I want to say is that the actual cards are gorgeous.
I'm sure. Should be able to print some pretty
Absolutely
nice stuff.
stunning. They're fantastic. They get like 6 in a pack, and it's like $5. $10.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just gouging collectors. That's hilarious.
Well, who else are you going
yeah,
to sell
exactly.
it to?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no, there's I don't know, like cards, comics, perfume, even making little miniature things out of gold. Man, there's other hobbies out there that are way more expensive that are much more common. Golf is one.
Golf.
It is horrendously expensive once you get into it, man. I mean, over at the yacht club, guys talking all day. I bought a new driver. It's like, that's $1,200 driver. Yeah, exactly. So it's like green fees alone in a year. Let alone, I know a bunch of guys over there who ski like crazy.
I would say
That's a
skiing
fucking
is
expensive.
expensive.
There's one guy over there. He beats everybody though, man. He's into aviation, and that is just
That's a club in and of itself.
it is a club in
That's,
itself. He and 3 other guys own an airplane. And it's just like,
Wow.
oh yeah. So they take turns, having fun.
See, this thing you're telling me here, right? This is
That's like top tier.
no, but this is
And this guy does not. He's not rich, man. So.
no. But that being said, like when we would have those discussions about like anecdotal things, and you're like, I haven't heard anybody saying that that things cost too much. I haven't heard anybody saying that they're like hurting for money.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, what's your sample set? Who are the guys you hang out with? Which is where
This
the
guy
yacht
lays
club
tile
thing-
for a living, man. So yeah,
Well, laying tile is a super good job.
it is. So,
But that's what I'm saying is like when I'd say people are paying for groceries with a firm with 4 payments, you're like, no, never seen it, never heard of it.
I still haven't seen that. So yeah,
But when you roll with golfers and
Oh yeah, everybody over there is fucking loaded, right?
So-
Yeah. So they basically meet us at the door and hang up our coats, and
Roham, anybody buying $1,200 drivers is not the kind of person that's paying for groceries on 4 payments.
No, of course,
true.
my brother is not doing that.
Right.
So,
Right. But that's what I was saying. Like Americans are doing this.
I don't think so, man. I don't think it's that bad.
I mean, again, I can show you the data.
I've seen the data.
And again, this is like,
I've
yes,
seen the data.
I hang out with eye rollers, but yes, they're
Yep.
doing it.
I've seen the data. So I've also seen the wage data. So it's keeping pace, man.
No,
So,
it's not. It's actually below. It's
No,
below inflation.
not that much. So
But it's below.
yeah, but by like less than 1% or 2, it's not a big deal. So
What kind of is a big deal?
not really.
I
If you're living paycheck to paycheck, it is
Yeah.
big.
Everybody lives paycheck to paycheck. That's the great big myth out there. Show me these fucking people who aren't living paycheck to paycheck. So they're in the top 10%.
Wasn't living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
before.
So
I wasn't either.
yeah, that's because you guys were both working for what, 200 grand a year? That puts you in that.
130, 140
Adjust that for today's inflation. So what are the guys up there now making?
less
Less than 130 or 140?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
because there's no drilling.
There's no drilling.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, the
Baker had 4 rigs.
Do they just move somewhere else?
No, there's no drilling. So
No,
these
the
people
actual-
don't have work, or if you're
Oh,
if
so they're
you're
just not
working-
employed.
Well, you're only working like 1 week out of the month.
Oh, okay. So they don't make as much as they used to?
not even close.
Yeah. Why's that?
'Cause there's no drilling.
Why's that?
Because they're not allowed to drill on all this land.
Aren't they?
No.
No.
They shriveled up the leases and all that stuff, and because it's not as profitable, then
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's.
So why isn't gas more expensive then?
What do you? Gas is more. It's
No,
like
it's not.
twice as much as
It's the same as it was 2 years
2016.
ago. Well, 2016, everything's twice as
or
expensive.
2020.
Well, yeah. So, but I'm talking like the last 2 years. So, did all those jobs shrivel up in the last 2 years or the last 6?
It's
It's been like it started shutting down
The
over
COVID.
the last
The
COVID
COVID,
was
and then it never picked.
So
back
4 or
up.
so. Yeah.
So once COVID hit, they did rehire. They started hiring and getting back, but then it just
flattened.
gone.
Just
So yeah, it was they were down to like 3 rigs for
the
the
entire
entire
Rocky Mountain
Rocky
region.
Mountain.
Yeah.
Okay. So they didn't transfer down to Texas or something or offshore.
They had some, but I mean,
Yeah, okay.
it's just they're just not.
So what's up with like so I was just reading the other day that actually in the last 4 years they've tapped more wells than they did in the previous 8. Is that
You might
incorrect?
not be getting production out of it.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So they'll drill wells, but they won't produce out of it because the prices aren't good enough for them to make money.
Okay, that makes sense. Then.
So
So they
you'll-
wouldn't drill more then.
Yeah.
okay.
So you got all these things ready to go so that if oil prices go up or we put an embargo on Iran and say we're not taking your oil anymore, no one is, then
We don't take any oil from overseas.
we don't, but they let it open up to the rest of the world
Yeah.
and stuff. So if they shut that part down and oil prices, then they'll open them up.
Yeah.
But they control the spigots of
The guys who own the well. So who is that usually?
The
main
landowner. Well, yeah, it's split between.
landowner gets
Well, they get paid for
they
it.
gets paid from it.
Yeah,
Who owns the oil though?
Whoever drills is paying.
Anadarko, whoever. Yeah, whatever.
So is that I thought they
Chevron.
were the driller and the Chevron was the guys who own the oil. Don't they
Oh,
hire the
Chevron-
driller?
They'll hire they'll hire the rig. So
Right.
and
Right,
Anadarko's
okay.
the rig.
So they'll hire the
Um,
rig. Okay.
Yeah, so Chevron.
Hess.
Yeah, they're
Halliburton still do that.
Halliburton-
Conoco, or not Conoco. One of those guys.
Whiting.
Whiting. Yeah.
But then it goes downstream to like Chevron or Mobil or somebody like that.
However,
Yeah,
that's above my pay. I just,
That's
Well, those are the guys who turn it into gasoline. So
that's well. I
that-
mean,
and
again,
that's what you see at the pump. So
well, and some of those guys are directly involved with it. Exxon, that kind of stuff.
excellent. Yeah, I guarantee.
Again, Hess, not big here, but big on the East Coast.
yeah.
They,
So on
they
drilling
have
on
their
the
own
East
rigs.
Coast?
Pennsylvania.
yeah,
Just fracking. Yeah.
that's pretty much everything.
And now,
US.
yeah. No, I was looking at that because I was reading about Venezuela the other day. So apparently their oil is shit, and ours is so much better that they just turned the pumps back on. So, anyway,
Yeah, that's mostly regulatory, more so than anything else. Which is why that's one of the things Trump's running on is we start drilling day one.
yeah, I guess, man. I mean, the problem with that is that doing that is fundamentally inflationary. So if you actually, turn around and start having more dollars chasing more goods, again, the same thing with it's just like student debt relief. If you start actually throwing money at problems, or in this case, oil, which basically translates into money. So wages go up, prices go back up again. So
No, the prices wouldn't go back up.
because your energy's lower.
Yes.
yeah, okay, maybe I got that backwards. I don't know. I have to go back and read it again. But I saw a thing about this the other day that was actually talking about this in some detail about how like neither party actually has very good solutions for inflation at this point in time. So especially since the other day the Fed decided not to ratchet down. So
Yeah, I saw that.
I thought
they said maybe in September.
they
So-
just were going to do it like today or something like that.
Well,
They got lucky.
who got lucky?
They got lucky they didn't get too beat up on this. They lost their asses, but a lot of it rebounded.
Who did?
And the stock
In
market
the stock
going
market,
down.
yeah.
Yeah, it was
Or
like
there.
2%. It's not.
No. It rebounded pretty hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
You know,
right.
because that's an opportunity to buy. So yeah, the same thing with crypto right now. So I mean, if you want to buy Bitcoin, now's the time to do it. So
So yeah, if it didn't, then they'd have been looking like idiots. But it's yeah.
oh, the Fed.
Right.
I don't think the Fed cares. He's on his last term anyway. So
I get it, but I mean that's also something where you're like, well, it's not just me.
what, the Fed?
No, it's not just. It's not just one guy being like, well, I'm quitting. Well, no, there's a lot of people that can be impacted by this, so it's not. Like,
Oh no, the
I'm
Fed.
checked out.
Yeah, no, the Fed wears very big shoes. It
Yeah.
steps on a lot of people. So, but they've done a pretty good job. So, we'll have to see. So exactly what happens next time they have a meeting come up in September. But there's a lot of people looking for housing relief and stuff like that. They're not going to get it from the Fed. So,
Well,
no, not on mortgages. You're not going to see a 2% mortgage for another decade. So,
Well, if it just got to 5%.
yeah, what's it? Base rate's at 5.5, something like that. 5.6,
6.75.
6.75. Okay, that's the base rate. Okay, 6.75. That's high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why there's not houses for sale, because no one's going to leave their mortgage.
Yeah. Well, the housing thing. So this is what I was doing the deep dive on the other day. So because I saw Polis had a speech on this the other day, and then from your guys' favorite party out there, they were talking about rent control the other day, which is one of my pet peeves, but whatever.
the solution that's never a solution.
It's a terrible solution. So it worked out great for my uncle who had a rent control apartment in Manhattan for 40 years. But he was one guy with 1,800 square foot of Central Park apartment. So that was rent controlled and pegged to the 1950s. So that was great. So, but yeah. But no, they were talking about like what can we do to actually encourage more housing development and stuff like that. There's a really difficult problem with that. So if you're a builder and you build a house, right? Okay, the shell of the house and everything costs you like $150,000 to make. Okay, so you can sell it for $300,000. So if you spend another $10,000 or $15,000 on that and put in a nice bathtub, with a fucking walk-in, 5-jet shower and put marble countertops and the whole thing, you can jack that price up by another $150,000 called luxury housing.
Right.
So this is smart. This is just normal business. And so, there's no such thing as affordable housing. So if you're a builder, you don't want to build it. So, because why would you? You're going to get less margin on it. So you just wait until, prices go up enough to the point in time where you pull people off the sidelines, or you force other people out of their homes because they're like, holy shit, my house is worth, $1 million when I bought it for $150,000. I'm going to cash out and move to fucking Texas or Mexico. Or something. And so that's the only way that you get any inventory on the market anymore. So
Got like 5 houses for sale in like this neighborhood.
yeah, do you? That's it?
Well, they say houses are staying out of the market for like.
Well, this is what I'm
80
saying.
days
Is
on
It's got to be hard to get into one now.
for years, you would not see anything pop up.
Well, or they'd be sold in 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that the signs have been hanging for a while, I was like, this is not.
This is different.
Yeah.
All you realtors are having to actually work now.
Yeah, good. So fucking slackers. So
Well, when you would get multiple bids within the first couple of days, like you're not working.
Well, weren't they also doing a lot of the ones where they just wouldn't like put them on the market anyway? Like it was like.
pocket listings.
Yeah.
They would do that. No, like a lot of the ones that you see hang around are people who are at price points that are unrealistic. So you see that too. So we have one house in our neighborhood that's been for sale for probably like 2 months. So, and I keep an eyeball on it. They're asking probably about 50 grand too much for it. So, and they won't budge. And I guarantee you it's because they're upside down on their mortgage. So, yep. Because they bought it. Because we had a correction during COVID. It's a nice correction, which was great for me and probably for you. Because so it was like, sweet. So we got to bleed some of this off here, man. So otherwise I'm getting really tempted to sell it. So, but those guys, I know they're upside down on their mortgage, so they can't budge on their price, so they're stuck with it right now.
Yeah, I saw someone said like if you're looking to buy a new home, instead of having your usual 20% down, you need to be closer to like 38 for you to have like a realistic payment where you're in, where everything's not going to interest and all this kind of stuff.
Just buy a smaller house. Come on.
Either that or you wait. I mean.
Yeah, but that's the same thing that everybody's faced in every generation ever. You have to decide when you're going to jump out of renting and get into a house. So it's no different now than it was when we were younger buying. When I bought my first house, man, it was a hot market just like right now. So, and you had to have, I mean, then it was a little bit better. You had to probably scrape together about 15% down in order to get within range and still be able to qualify for a mortgage. But they were easy about it back then because they'd be like, well, we're just going to sell your mortgage next week anyway. We
Yeah.
don't do that anymore, so, which is a good thing.
15's a far cry from 38.
I'd be surprised if someone's actually required to put 38 down on a house.
Well,
So-
it's not the requirement. It's the,
okay.
But that for you to realistically not be house poor,
Yeah.
House poor.
where you're paying like 50% of what you make to your house.
Yeah, I don't think they'd underwrite that one.
Well, that's why
They
you.
underwrite a loan at 38. Because that's not much of a loan at that point.
Yeah, that's not much of a loan. So, yeah.
So of course they'd underwrite that.
Well, yeah. So if it's just for round figures, $100,000 house, you put $38,000 on it, you have a $52,000 mortgage. That's no big deal.
But it's 62.
Oh, 62. That's still no big deal.
Yeah, but
So,
your average house is 400,000.
here.
Right.
Here. Go down to Pueblo.
Wow.
Different. So go about 80 miles that way. Go try out Lyman. It's a little bit different.
But that's Lyman. I mean,
I know.
that's the thing, though,
Yeah.
is
Where
the
you
kids go
work.
through-
Right. Yeah, but this is a sliding scale. I mean, do you think people should have affordable housing in downtown San Francisco?
Yes.
Really? Why?
Because you need workers in downtown San Francisco that you can't pay
Yeah.
exorbitant rates to.
This is what a subway, they got a whole transit system for there, right? So-
Yes.
Yeah, it might suck, but that's the purpose of it, isn't it? To get people from poor neighbors into neighborhoods into richer ones, especially in Mass.
In theory, but at the same time, no, well, all right. So you're asking if they should. Well, of course they should. It should be like, by any definition here, you're talking about if you have a lifeblood here, you have one of two decisions, right? You either have to make the service jobs, pay a wage that would support living down there, or slightly less, which I don't know. You tell me how to solve that. Or the other thing is that you have to have affordable housing.
Yeah, but how do you enforce affordable housing? So do you go to
The
your
stuffiest
landlords
way
and
that you're
say
talking
that
about, but
you,
yes.
what, rent control? Yeah, fuck that.
Or you get all your businesses leaving, and then the prices will go down.
Exactly. That's letting the thing do its thing. So, which is what is
the
happening in
city
San
dies,
Francisco
yeah.
right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that,
So, yeah, eventually it does turn into watts.
Or basically you put in like Project 8 hubs. So it's
Not a fan of Project.
no one is.
Yeah.
No, as a matter of fact, I challenge you to find the San Franciscans out there who will be like, no, actually, yeah, we're happy to have these tenements up here. Happy to, because it'll make their lives that much easier, right? It'll shave. I can't tell you how much value off of my home, but yeah, that happily put up huge buildings over here full of low-income government subsidized housing.
Yeah.
No, not going to happen.
Yeah.
But if you're asking, should they? Yeah, something should be down there if you're going to have the people basically working there.
Well, or you just have them commute, so and make the infrastructure better. I don't
Well,
know.
no, because the idea here is that the people that are getting paid less on this are going to like be more stressed, take longer to commute, and it costs money.
Right.
So the idea
So
is
you're
to
never
have
getting out of it.
right. So the idea here is that you're supposed to have people in that area taking care of that area.
Yeah. Okay.
As a matter of fact, your commuters should be the people that are more high income.
I think you should commute from wherever you can afford to commute from. So if I live next door to Twitter and I pay $1 million a month for my rent, but I get paid way more than that, okay, fine. So
Totally
that's totally fine. But if I'm the janitor at Twitter and it costs $1 million a month to live next door to Twitter, I'm not going to be a janitor at Twitter. So one of them Twitter guys better do that, or they can pay me more. So
Right.
yeah, so
Well, that's-
I don't think you should fuck with my housing price. I mean, especially if I own the house.
Now you will not have any fast food restaurants.
Right.
Well, then
Or it
fine.
will cost
Fucking let
you-
them die. So, if those people want Hardee's in downtown San Francisco, they need to pay the people that actually live there or pay the taxes to actually increase the, amount of spending that is on their transit. So it's not a big deal to get down there from San Jose or wherever. I don't know. I don't know that part of the world.
I don't
No, man,
work on
'cause
these giant
yeah,
cities,
'cause
so
that's the tough thing, man. You're telling the people that make the less that they have to commute more.
Yeah, I
And
agree with that. You should be able to, you get
that's
what
the
you can.
worst idea possible.
I love it, man. I love it. You get what you can afford. So, you make do with what you can do, and that gets you, to the next step to figure out what it is that you're going to do next. So,
Well, okay, so again, the problem that we have to consider here is, again, remember, we're three guys
yeah,
that went to honors classes. Okay, I'm not
I
saying
got
that,
kicked out of mine.
yeah, and I'm not saying I stayed in all of mine, but what I'm telling you here is, if
I did.
yeah, you did, you did.
You did.
But what I'm telling you here is that you're talking about a capacity for people here that isn't necessarily accurate. When you're saying, like, yes, so your life is something, all right, you are working here, you are commuting a big long distance, you're not making a ton of money, and I'm sorry, a lot of you are not in that same field of capability. I'm not shitting on these people. What I'm saying, like, to make their life extra hard for something that they may not be able to work themselves out of, that's shitty.
Get a different job, man. So
Again,
come
you're-
on. So
You're working with that same thing of, like, yes, it's, you're saying get a different job.
Get
There
a
are
different
people
job.
that are not that good or smart.
well, then do it somewhere closer to where you live. So come on. I mean,
And then you won't have anybody doing the crappy jobs. And
not my problem. That's whoever runs Twitter's problem. So if he wants a Hardee's next door, he needs to pay people, in order to work there or whatever. So
They don't pay Hardee's.
okay, then they don't have a Hardee's next door. So I don't
Or
have
janitors.
I don't have.
Right.
That's it. That is the guy who owns Twitter's problem. So if he doesn't have janitors in his building, that's his.
But Patrick, why is it that you can't pay the janitor the same that you pay the engineers down there?
Because the engineers are much more difficult to get. So
Correct.
yes. So
But they still have to work in the same building.
maybe, or it's, those guys.
Well, he has to clean that building. That's the only building he cleans.
Right, yeah, but I'm telling you, the guy who does that job does not have to do that job if he does not get paid enough to do that job. So,
Right. So in order for that person to do that, you are putting them in the shittiest position possible.
no, he can get a different job. So,
This is as circular as it gets, man. You have to get somebody to do that job.
then Elon Musk can pay somebody enough to make that job worth it for them.
So then the janitor makes the same as the engineer.
Maybe that there's one janitor and 20 engineers. Okay, so you're still spending more on engineers than you are on janitor. So, but if it takes that much money to actually get a decent janitor around the place, okay, fine. If he wants that kind of guy, there you go. So I don't think we should do anything to actually manipulate the housing market or the labor market to make sure that guy who grew up in that neighborhood can stay in that neighborhood forever and ever and ever because for some reason he's entitled to it. No.
I agree with that.
No, well, I understand. And it's not a question of entitled. I mean, it's about what are your skills and where are the jobs,
Sure.
right?
There are so many jobs available for low or no skill people right now. It is bananas. So it is absolutely like you go to any fucking Taco Bell in the world, they are hiring right now.
I understand.
Yeah. Okay. So even probably the one in San Francisco.
Yes.
So yes. All right. That has nothing to do with housing. Has nothing to do with wages.
It
That
has
has,
exactly to do with housing.
No,
Because
it has-
people can't get there.
it has everything to do with what the company is willing to pay those people. So that is a market solution to this problem. All right. If they want to keep a Taco Bell in that area, so they need to find a way to make it profitable. If they can't make it profitable by selling $7 burritos and paying their janitors $60,000 a year, that business needs to close. So
No, this is the problem that you just mentioned. That's where it's circular, where it's like, okay,
Yes.
these people you're saying they need to commute, right?
I'm not saying they need to commute. I'm saying that they need to actually make valid and rational decisions about their job choices.
No. Hear me
That's
out.
what
on
I'm
this.
saying.
No, okay, because you were saying it's okay for them to commute.
It's okay if
Right.
they can afford it.
Well, this is the problem. All right, so if you're talking about, so all right, so here's San Francisco. This is your Taco Bell. It pays $25.
That's not enough to work.
Here's the problem.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Well, no, this is the thing is you're still going to get out of area people because if over here in this other like little suburb, okay, it's still $20,
Yeah.
right? If you start paying people in San Francisco $35, right? all you'll get is basically commuters taking those jobs.
Yeah, that's fine.
No, it's not.
Why not?
No, because that's the thing, is that's not fixing the community problem.
I don't. Yeah, I don't propose to fix the community problem.
All you're going to do is basically you're taking that and making that a commuter job for sure.
That's fine.
Because all that does is it drives out the
fine.
people
If they
that live
decide to do that,
that's
that's fine.
fine.
Yeah, you have to make the decision. Like I drive an hour to work every single day. Okay, now I don't work there every day.
Right.
But when I do, I drive an hour and I drive an hour back. When I took that job and when I actually got promoted in that job, I made a very conscious decision. Is this something I still want to keep doing? Is the money that I'm getting paid worth it?
Yes.
The answer is very yes. So now, would someone in that community benefit from having my job and get paid just as much and not have to commute as much? Yes. Okay. But I'm the one who said yes to that.
I understand.
yeah.
But again, look at who you are, Dr. Patrick.
I understand this.
No, clearly you don't, because
There's not fucking 10 Dr. Patrick positions down there. There's one.
Exactly.
It's not a Taco Bell.
Exactly.
All right. So there's one of me that's qualified for this job. There's 10 people who are qualified to work at the Taco Bell. Okay?
Correct.
So it's a
Right.
scaling problem. It's not an inequality. Okay.
It isn't any. No,
it's
because again,
not an inequality.
the whole thing where you say like work somewhere else, do a different
Yes.
job. Yes, for some people, okay.
For almost everybody, that is a solution. Almost
You just
everybody.
have to be willing to sacrifice
Yes.
your
I
comfort of this is my home, this is what I've been doing. This is
This neighborhood I grew up in.
Right. Okay. And let me put this to you. This is what I'm
full of
saying
rich
here.
guys now.
Okay. How difficult? Again, people is that I understand that that's something that you say, right? And I understand to a point that is correct. But at the same time, like, look at how many people in the countries they're in, okay, have shitty things going on. I mean, really shitty.
Lots.
Okay? Lots.
Almost all.
And these are people that still, under that, because of their community ties, they still won't pick up and leave those areas,
Yeah.
right? Picking up and leaving everything behind is difficult to do under the best circumstances,
Absolutely.
right? So if the solution, yes, I understand it's an easy thing to say, and it's an easy thing to say, like, okay, well then we have to pick you. You need to leave.
Well, you need to
need to
leave
leave.
or you need to get a different gig in that area. That's fine.
But
So-
that's not what they're qualified for.
It doesn't have to be qualified to get a power washer and walk around your neighborhood and make hundreds of dollars a week in order to clean up people's yards. I mean, you can
Yes,
do
it is. That's a big investment in
a
time.
power washer. You get one
And
for
you're
50
gonna-
fucking bucks.
And you're gonna get this, and you're gonna tell me that these guys are gonna make that same amount of money. Like, everyone can't do that. That's what I'm saying. Is you can't just say like
that
all right,
doesn't solve all the
let me
problems, but that
pull
solves enough of them.
for
So-
one person at that Taco
okay.
Bell.
Yeah. Sure.
One.
Okay.
Maybe. Because if you say like, well, how much power washing do they need to displace everybody at one Taco Bell, then one KFC, then one Chipotle, right? Then
Right.
that's what I'm saying is you can't power wash your way out of everything and just say, here, I'm going to put you in a new enterprise that, number one, you don't know. Number two, you may not be capable of, right? I'm sorry. Like, look,
well,
I'm
then
not,
basically all those restaurants are just going to go.
Yeah, when they probably should.
well,
So-
they won't, because what'll happen is people will commute to those jobs because it pays. You have a
If they're going to raise the
It-
pay.
exactly.
Well,
they
and that's
won't.
exactly.
if they break even on gas. Otherwise, those people are still going to go broke. So if they can't break even on that, you're not going to keep that job.
No,
man.
the
Yeah.
people that'll come there, right? Because it's worth it to them. If it's a 35-hour, okay, $35 would be unreal for
Yeah,
fast food.
so
right?
it's going to go
Is it?
away.
But this is what I'm saying is $35, you go out here and do this, okay? But if you live adjunct to it another place where it's like I have $20 fast food or 17, whatever. California, different story. I think it's 20 everywhere, right? But
It's 20
that's-
everywhere here, man. So
Not the you. They might pay that, but it's not requirement. California, it's
Yeah.
required.
oh no, it's not a
for
requirement here, but here it's a free float, and
Yeah.
so I've got a brother-in-law. He works at Taco Bell. He makes $22 an hour.
I say
So,
like
yeah.
for sure, it's guaranteed that you're going to get at least.
Yeah, they
20.
put a floor on it.
right. But that's the thing is,
I think our
so
floor's still $7.85.
Somewhere down. No, it's.
I think the state
12 or
one's
13,
14,
something,
yeah.
so the dudes over there that are going to take those jobs are the guys that, well, they live, they're kids that are living at home or whatever, right? People that can, it's no loss to them or anything to go take those jobs. It's just the drive, right?
Right, unless the gas is so much more expensive that it's actually a wash.
Right,
So, or
right.
if you're
And your
underwater,
time.
yeah, or your time.
Right, but all you're doing there at that point is you're guaranteeing the actual native people will leave.
Okay,
They will lose the jobs to those people because they can't afford
I
that.
don't have a problem with that. So
I do.
I know, I got it.
I do.
So we've hit bedrock on this one. I don't care if they have to leave. You do, cool. So that's an
I
opinion.
mean, I guess that's the question. Why? Why? I mean, because if we've hit that point, why is it so easy for you to displace these people?
I don't think you're entitled to live there just because you live there. So
Okay, I get that, but why is it that doesn't answer the question? Why is it so easy for you to displace these people without any sympathy?
oh, I totally have sympathy for them, and especially in situations where you have to take care of your mom or something like that. I mean, I get that better than most people. You know, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I'm bolted to this community. So that you guys, so and my daughter's school, and stuff like that. But if I were to lose my job tomorrow, I'd be able to find something comparable to it. And I think that most people in that situation would probably be able to do the same thing at their level. Okay, now
It's the same area.
I understand it's the same area, but if you lose your job at the Taco Bell, there's probably other things that you can do within that area. I mean, across the spectrum, especially if we're talking about low-end skill sets around here, you have a lot more job transferability between us. Like me, okay, in order to get a different job in my field, I either have to move or I have to take a step back at this point in time. Those are my choices. All right, in low skill world, I can just change my skill set, or I can actually take the skills that I applied from one job, say I work in retail, to another retailer very easily. So they're much more transferable between each other. So and then on top of it, there's going to be a lot more jobs that are available at that level. So I think there's going to be some churn in there, but I think there are a lot of people who, they just it's like so much easier not to pay attention to what's going on around you and making adjustments to your life. And then just complaining about it when the trees around you change color, and if they have in a neighborhood like that where you grew up in a place and I remember when gas was 99 cents here and now it's like $3 or $3.85, whatever it is that I paid the other day. Okay, you do have to like sit down and say like, can I still afford to live here? So afford and deserve are two different things. The guy might deserve to live there, but if you can't afford it, you can't live there. So
No, I understand that,
Yeah.
but again, that goes back to the same question: is why is it so easy for you to displace these people?
I don't have an answer for that.
I do. Because I was willing to bust my butt and work 2 jobs and do whatever it took to make sure the bills got paid.
I understand.
So
that.
if you're gonna whine because your one job is making it tough on you, then you can do more.
No, stop it for a second. What you guys do is you just injected the whining part. I didn't say that. I didn't even imply it. Okay, I'm not bringing up.
I'm saying that you can do whatever it takes to get by in the world.
You can.
I get that. Okay, I didn't introduce the whining part. Okay, I didn't say that. I'm not going to. Okay, what I am going to say here is, again, think about the people who are. Fuck it. I know. I am not trying to talk about these people like they're special needs or retards. Okay, I'm absolutely
They're
not.
people in hard situations.
But hang on. Stop giving them the same exact mental fortitude that you have, right? Because a lot of them don't. They don't have it. They are not the best and brightest in the community.
Well, then,
I know.
Then this is an elementary school where everybody has to succeed.
It's true.
Well, no, but what do you do with that?
If this is the real world, you find a way to make it work for you.
Yeah. You get those guys some skill sets, or
Oh, you're in the lowest income place over there. Like again, I'm not.
Then I agree with him. Go to Nebraska.
yeah,
You can afford to live there.
or vote yourself a paycheck. There you go.
Believe me, I feel bad for the
Thinking
people.
that they're.
I feel bad for the people that are going through it. But you either find the way to make it work or you don't.
Right. Again, that's very reductionist, and I understand where you're coming from. And you're right. When it comes down to it, it's like it's your life. Okay. What are you going to do with it? Right. I understand. But just step back 1 second and just remember, not everybody has the clarity or basically the meta thought to have that kind of cognition for it. I
We can't hold everybody's hand.
Right.
Just because they don't
understand.
have it doesn't mean I have to be the one to hold their hand to make sure that they can get through.
And what do you do with that? What do you do with that? What do you do with that person?
Like he said, you go to a different city. You find your brother.
Let's get you something, man.
You both pull together and you
Pick up
live
some
together.
family, get a roommate. Yeah, there's a million
You
solutions.
do
to this.
what you got to do to survive.
I understand. Again, that's a platitude. That is again.
No,
don't-
that's a reality. That's what most people wind up doing. Otherwise, they wind up on fentanyl. So
That's the problem.
but there's way more people. There are
avoid.
way more people who fix their shit than wind up on fentanyl.
Absolutely. They
Way
don't have
more.
to do that.
Like 97 to 3%.
This is what I'm talking.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
those 3%, police them up, get them in an institution, give them a Dave Ramsey plan, teach them how to use a drill press, something like that.
That's
Make sure they're
the issue
clean.
right there.
Yeah, that's fine.
And that's something. Don't restrict it to the 3%. Because again, if you're talking about retraining people, retraining them to have that mentality, retraining them to be in a position where it's like, okay, this is how I solve these problems. Totally fine.
Millions of
Totally
people are doing
fine.
millions and millions and millions of people are doing that every day, Jeff. So every fucking day.
Yes,
So,
I get that.
Yeah.
Okay, again, just stop. Give these people more credit by understanding what their restrictions are. It is not as simple as saying uproot, leave, do this. Okay,
It's an
not.
option.
It is an option, but you got to understand that there are people that would. I'm not trying to get racist or anything like you. Okay, I'm not upset at any of you guys. I don't want to.
You get awfully fucking classist on us here, you know. So
Well, no, actually, you guys are getting kind of classist on this because you're looking at this group and saying like, yes, it doesn't matter what your circumstances are, get out.
yeah, absolutely.
That's
So,
as classist as it gets.
I disagree. I think
Because
that's
it's totally
that's
overblown.
putting complete faith in the individual, saying you are in control of your own destiny, man. You have the agency to get out of this. I've seen millions of people do it. You can do it too. I mean, there are people out there who are blind. There are people out there who are paralyzed. There are people out there who suffer from horrible PTSD, terrible disfigurement,
Totally understand.
everything like that, and they crawl out of that too.
They
so you can totally do it.
It doesn't.
So
There's
you just
no
need
reason-
someone to root for you, man.
There's
So-
no reason to have to stay in the most highly priced cities. It doesn't make sense. It's so much harder to dig out of that hole.
The way you fix that city is by actually getting people to move out of it. So depopulate a little bit. So
Like what's happening in San Francisco right now. The businesses are all leaving.
yeah.
Well, okay. There's two components to that, though. Right? You have to remember it's not just a question of price over there, right? There are multiple reasons that people are leaving. And one of them is, well, if you keep voting for the same government,
Yeah.
you get the same results.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Right? So, look, I'm
They
going to...
had it coming. Yeah, you're
Yeah, they
choosing-
definitely had it coming. Yeah.
Right. This is my thing is those people, okay, those little people in there right there, they're not the ones responsible for that.
No, and they're also not voting either.
Correct.
So, yeah.
Correct. Okay. So I guess my whole take on this is, all right, and this may be unfair, all right, because I'm sort of looking at this as these are the people that I would call them the victims of this situation, right? Now, I understand that I can also flip this around and say, like, boys, you are the people with the opportunities in this situation, right? I could look at it that way too. I mean, these are guys like, yes, they are getting together and saying like, hey, $20 isn't enough. We need it to be 25, right? They're trying to do that right now.
Go for it.
That being said, that's a terrible solution, right?
Well, unless it works.
Well, here's the thing: is the result of going to 20 got them 28 hours. Basically, you know, it's moving people to part time.
The immutable piece of this is the business will always protect its own interests.
That is correct.
It has to, otherwise it ceases to exist.
Yes, people are losing their jobs to this, and they're being cut to part time as a result. So, will $25 fix that? No,
No.
absolutely not.
Every individual mom and pop's place is gone.
Oh, they're probably already gone.
Yeah.
If
anyway.
not, yes, you've already lost all those jobs.
Correct.
Mom and pop jobs are overrated.
But I mean, they're just jobs.
Stop it, man.
Dude, they
Don't say
totally
that
are,
shit.
man. I've had so many students who get like roped into modern day slavery based upon the fact that
I'm
their
not
parents-
talking about
Oh,
the
that's
food.
right.
I'm talking about not talking about the labor conditions. I'm talking about the food.
Oh, the food's great. Yeah. So you can make that at home. We'll have it at a barbecue later. You know? So, but the The mom and pop solution, the death of the five and dime, is not something I lament.
But they're just jobs.
They're just jobs.
They're all gone because
Yeah.
you lost all those. Now you're losing the big businesses.
I totally understand.
Yeah.
They're
It's
you
not
gotta
their
see,
fault, though.
No, but you got to see a sinking ship when it's there and leave.
Yeah, or you
Or
just ride
wait
it down to the
out.
bottom, man, and see what you get out of it. I mean, the days where you were going to work 45 years for the same fucking company are long dead. Long fucking dead. So the only place you're going to do that is if you get a government job with the police department or something like that. Or you go in the army. That's it.
You're not wrong. Okay, it just
And that could be that way.
Hey,
It should be that way.
I'm actually somebody that believes that the homeless, we should build housing for homeless.
In this town, we have beds for every single homeless person. On the
But I
street.
believe you should
So-
build housing for them so that they have an address, so that they can actually be able to put things on resumes.
that
and
is
say,
absolutely available.
That's what I think it should be done. Given to them for at least a year.
That is
Give them a
100%.
chance to be able to buy into it by the time the year comes up, kind of thing. So I believe completely in trying to give those worst ends a chance to rebound. But for most of you're able to make conscious decisions. And you can choose to either keep trying to suffer your way through it and beat your head against the wall and keep hoping that something changes, or you can try and change something in your life. Whether it's a different location, whether it's bringing your brother to live with you, or whether it's
Get a roommate.
doing whatever it takes to try
a
and
lot of you
change.
guys already have roommates. Okay, look, I'll put it like this. This is the only way, because it's not that I disagree with what you guys are saying, and I also think that this works in the majority, if not more, if not the overwhelming majority of cases, right? That's what I'm saying. We see eye to eye on a lot of this, okay? It's just you have to remember there's also a group of people out there that are not at that cognition level that you think. And in terms of, like, where they are, okay, where they're living, what they are in that situation, is you need people that are working that basically see things as, if I'm just here, it's enough, right? You need people in that society. They make a lot of things in this country run, okay?
Yeah, but they
You
don't
can-
live in San Francisco. So
Some of them do.
Yeah,
Some of them
but-
have to. Some of them are living there with 5, roommates. They are. They're doing
You've
that.
chosen to do
Stop
that.
it. Hold on 1 second. Okay, go. Stop with the chosen part.
You choose it.
Well,
It's
Again-
free will, man.
again, don't be that reductionist. What I'm saying to you is, yes, most people do. Most people do. A lot of people, you just have to understand that it's a different way of life. It is not how they're raised. We are taking the benefit that we have of the way that we were raised and the people that we knew, and the system that we were in.
So are these people immigrants?
Some of them are. Some people are just
They're like the most successful people out there. So,
Some of them are.
Yeah.
Some of them aren't.
oh, yeah, well, yeah, the ones on fentanyl.
This fentanyl, or again, remember a lot of the people that came across the southern border, not the people that came from
They all have
China,
fucking
not the
jobs.
people that came from Korea, not the people that came from Japan. Okay, we're talking about people that, and we're talking about like second, third generation of people who live in these communities where it's like, I just was raised this way. We are using the benefit of how we came up, what we knew from being in honors classes, from having competent
I'm
parents.
saying my privilege is holding me back, Kev.
I am not
Thinking-
talking. I'm not talking about privilege. All I'm saying is, you have expectations of these people to have the same thoughts.
I don't have
that you do.
expectations based on my background, Jeff. I have expectations based upon my experience working
Correct.
with people like this every fucking day for the last 14 years of my life.
Totally understand. They did not work with those people, and they didn't.
There
have
are
those
cats out
parents.
there who can absolutely help them out just like me. So
This is why I just told you. The overwhelming majority of people are just like you guys talked about.
now why are we worried about a tiny minority?
Because they're the ones that are the victims in this situation, because they're the ones that are being shuffled out, and the only answer is, fuck you.
Where are they being
Move.
shuffled off to?
Out of the city.
That's fine. Yeah, okay. I don't think we're gonna get anywhere on this one. I don't have a problem with those guys getting shuffled out of the city, especially if they're doing it of their own volition. So,
It's not of their own volition. You are, again, the whole thing is using the assumption that these people have the exact same forethought that you do. That's what I'm saying. And I'm not saying it is a big group of people. I'm saying here that these people don't know better because they don't know better. It has everything to do with their upbringing. And to just say like, well, shit happens, you're out of luck, leave your community, which again, people in fucking war-torn countries can't even find
We're not a war-torn
you don't
country.
understand.
You can't
like,
find
We're not a war-torn country.
you can't. No, I'm
There's
saying
opportunity available to you by leaving.
no. The people in those places still can't pick up and leave their families because they're ties to their community.
yeah, I understand
Right?
that.
And remember, if you don't have money and this is where your community is, what the fuck else do you have? You're asking people to give up on the last little things that they have.
I'm asking them to say yes to an opportunity. So, it'd be one of those situations where if I found a bunch of people who needed, to get out of a situation like that. So you got 5 people living in downtown San Francisco. The rent's due at the end of the month. Old man Snidely's knocking on the door. He's going to take all your things.
I'd be gone too.
I would be gone, but I can empathize with people who don't know what to do. So, but then if I come to them with an opportunity, it's like, hey, I got a great job for you. It's in Bakersfield. I'll get you down there. Let's go.
If that happens,
That
right?
happens all the fucking time. So,
To the dudes at McDonald's.
oh, I'm sure it does in a certain aspect
what
when
we're
they
talking
actually
about.
close at McDonald's. I mean, most people don't think about looking for a job until they lose their current one. So that might be what it takes in order for them to actually say, "Oh, fuck, man, I can't afford to live here, so I could build a great life down in Bakersfield. Let's do it. Go do
Absolutely
it."
right.
So
You're absolutely right.
yeah. So I mean, that's the only time in my life where I've ever been situated where I was like, "Well, what am I going to do next?" So it's usually because I just lost my job. So yeah, and
I've been there plenty of times too.
yeah, so, I mean, I don't know what kind of aid you're proposing for these individuals.
I haven't proposed shit. All I'm saying is that these people, to look at them as such a subgroup and to say like the only answer
I'm
is
not looking at them as a fucking subgroup, dude. So
Yes, you are.
No, I am
Yes, you
not,
are.
Jeff. I educate these people every fucking day.
totally understand.
Okay,
but
so
still
if you're
looking at
sitting
them
here
as a
telling me
subgroup.
that I'm looking at it as a fucking subgroup, so you have no idea what I actually do. So, because that is not how I actually operate in the real world. So, and if I gave that impression, you took it the wrong way. So,
Okay, then explain to me. Okay.
you know what? I'm kind of done explaining this one. So I'd have no problem with those individuals, realizing they're not going to be able to make it in that community.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing. That is a fucking good thing because that means a new life for those individuals and a new life for whatever comes after them. Their kids, their grandkids, stuff like that. They can build a whole new life from a situation. If you just sit there and say like, oh my God, I can't believe I can't make enough money to be a janitor in downtown San Francisco. So I remember the good old days when I could do this and pine about those. You're going to get run over, bro.
This is
So-
again you are bringing up the pining part. I have never said that these people are pining about this. This is an assumption that you're bringing into this.
Yeah,
I
it
didn't.
is. No, okay, yeah, I'm guilty. It is an assumption that I bring into it. I
Go
think
for
it's
it.
accurate.
Go for it.
Yeah, there we
Go
go.
for it. And I mean, you're welcome to do that, but that's what I'm saying here is if you're
I don't think I'm misfounded in doing that
why
because I'm not. I've seen it happen a million times. So,
that
Most people that are in a situation that they're not happy with will complain about the situation.
they will complain about it before they change it.
people are going to complain. People complain when they're in happy situations.
So saying that's what they're doing isn't a far reach of the imagination.
okay,
So just because you're not officially saying it, the people probably are complaining about the situation that they're in
and they're welcome to do
and
so,
aren't doing anything to
as
change it.
everyone does.
So what he said is 100% true. And just because you didn't say it and include it in your argument doesn't make him wrong for saying that that's what the people are doing when the world around them is changing and they're not doing anything to keep up with it.
But the presentation is that these people are basically. All right, let me.
They're not chattel. They're people. They deserve the best.
No, let me.
They
put it
just
to you
can't
this way.
afford it.
So no, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so if that's how you're going to frame it, and that's totally fine. Okay, what is the problem?
I don't necessarily see a fundamental problem. The one problem that I do see is so large cities, like New York does a better job of this because its neighborhoods turn over regularly. Okay. The reason why the neighborhood turn over regularly is because wealthy people and people in the working class self-sort. Okay, New York's a big enough place to be able to do that. Fucking Denver isn't. San Francisco isn't. Okay, San Francisco's 8 towns glued together. Okay, each one with its own housing policy, its own minimum wage, its own zoning laws, all this shit. New York's New York. Okay, so if you're doing bad, you can find a basement, you can find a single bedroom apartment for $800 if you really need to.
17 miles in it as a subway.
You can find one in town. It's just going to be
no. You have
it's going to be about as wide as your fucking closet.
you have plenty of I mean, you can get all the way from one piece of the island to there real easy, ride the tube or take the trans.
As long as the national
super
guard
easy. Yes.
So, if you're taking a look at revising,
You can get from New Jersey to New York without that
the
much
tunnel's not
difficulty.
closed.
Yes.
So, but if you're taking a city like San Francisco, where a lot of the people who have the influence and the power in the city don't actually live in the fucking city, okay? So, and they make policy from afar, and they commute into there, okay? And then expect cheap labor and cheap tacos. Those are 3 things that just can't exist together.
Totally understand. But then here's the
One
question.
of them's got to break. I'm telling it that, those rich people living up on the hill, they got a lot more resources than you do, okay?
Well,
So you don't have that many resources. You're going to be the guy who breaks first. So come on, brother. Let's get down to Bakersfield. Let's get you a job in a steel mill. Let's go. So, because that's the only way you're going to fucking change a place like that is you're going to have to turn over some of the leadership there. The only way you're going to turn over the leadership there in some respects is if, you actually lose constituency. And that's why, honestly, it needs to depopulate a little bit. So,
or the population needs to change. Look,
the population needs to change. Yeah, sure. But
you guys have to understand, I'm not fighting you on this.
you sure seem like it.
No, I'm absolutely not. What I'm pointing out here is,
And you're accusing me of not having any empathy for these individuals. So, just because I'm trying to hey, man, get up, get out, get going. This is like flood rising around you. Come on, man. Swim to shore. Come on. So,
right. What I'm saying here is you make that sound so easy.
It's not easy, but it is doable. So, it's totally
this
doable.
This is what I'm talking about. So, again, remember I said overwhelming majority? I don't know what percentage I have to put this to you. Say, most people, no problem.
Yeah.
No problem. It's the group in there is the other people who are basically victims of this, who don't have that same kind of cognitive space to be you know what? It does make sense for me to leave everything I know, all my family, my pets, everything,
Bring it
because of what happened around me that I had nothing to do with.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's the thing. They're not the ones at fault for that. They're not the ones at fault for the situation.
Fault's got nothing to do with it, man. It's all about reality. So what the fuck you gonna do today, man? What happened yesterday happened yesterday. So get moving.
Get it. And most people, no problem. So I've got a small group in here. It's maybe I do have to have a little bit more empathy for those people that aren't that bright, will have to leave everything. And we're talking about communities that family is everything to them.
Yeah.
Right?
Bring your family.
You're telling every one of them to leave all that. That's what I'm saying. So when I'm saying yes, do I have empathy for these people?
Yeah. Well, you got to make your choices, man. And the thing is you always there's always agency involved in your choices. So you might feel that everything is limited by I got to stay here with my family. Great. You got to stay here with the family. That means you're going to have no free time, man, because you're going to have to work 5 different jobs. Okay. All right. That's your choice, man. So engage. So, if, you start with 5 jobs, work hard, get down to 3. All right. Work hard at that, get down to 1. Maybe eventually at some point in time, you'll save enough money where you can take your family with you, or your family's going to die off and it won't be a problem, but it will change.
It will.
So it will fundamentally change, but you got to be, you got to be forward thinking about those things. And it's not hard skill set to teach. You can teach anybody that in an afternoon. So,
Right. Right. Again, but if it were that easy, it'd be happening.
It is happening everywhere, every day. So the problem is that a lot of people slide into that without they used to be making really good decisions about things. And then they slide into that situation. They don't know how to get out of it. So there's a constant pool of people who are what the fuck am I supposed to do? So I don't think you change that. So
no, I think that's a constant that exists before our society even exists. That's the rule of life.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Fucking that's food on the plains of the Serengeti. Yeah. That's life.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Okay.
I don't know. It's just we're talking about a small group of people here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm boy, this really sucks for them. Okay, I get it. Okay, and I'm certainly not erasing other people's agency to be like, boy, you shouldn't be held accountable for your own decisions, because most people are, and they have to be.
You should
That's the only way to actually impact change. But then the question is, so if it's that easy when it comes down to those places, when you say, why isn't San Francisco changing? Why isn't New York changing? Why are these low cost, or why are these service jobs and stuff like this so low paying in these cities when it should be sorting itself out?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it is sorting itself out. I mean, what, 10 years ago, they were probably making half of what they were making now. And so, I mean, it's constantly dynamic. It's fluid. It's changing all the time. So the question is it getting better or worse? I don't know. So I have no fucking idea.
Well, raised this point, he said, like, the businesses are leaving. I would say that it's worse.
Well, that might be healthy, though, man. Sometimes you got to pull some weeds in order for the garden to grow.
I'm gonna fight you. Look, the last thing I ever
I
want to do is...
personally don't think there should be a fucking Taco Bell in downtown San Francisco. If people want $5 tacos, I mean, unless those tacos are $30 a piece, that's fine. Yeah.
All right, so here's the concession I'll make on this one here, okay? You guys are absolutely right. $5 tacos shouldn't exist. You don't deserve them. If it's on you guys are the geniuses in this Bay Area here. If you want to find a way where you say, like, I want cheap tacos and I also want, expensive housing, all right, then it's on fucking you guys.
Yeah, it is.
All right,
it's
and I am more than happy to blame every moron in San Francisco, okay? I speak to people in San Francisco that hate San Francisco and San Franciscans.
Why don't they move?
Huh?
Why don't they move?
Because that's where the money is.
Yeah, but like, don't they all do their shit remotely?
No.
Oh, okay.
The thing about investment capital is you go to meetings. You do not go to online meetings. You go schmooze with people.
Yeah, investment bankers are really low on my list of priority of people to help.
Anybody that owns, it shows me one bandolier of 200 and 400 euro. I said euros. Fucking expensive.
Not even in
fragrances.
American dollars.
And I don't know why. Okay, I look back at the thing. I'm looking at a houseboat that has 5 mountain bikes on it. Right?
I've never even been on a houseboat, and I belong to a yacht club apparently.
we're a landlocked state.
Hey man, they're down there on the lake.
I know.
I've never been invited.
I know. So if I'm going to blame anybody, I'm going to blame the people in charge. So fuck them. I guess the only thing I'm saying is...
if you're using this whole argument as a stick to hit San Francisco politicians with it, don't let me get in your way.
No, I'm just saying, like, I guess the only thing here, I don't want to see frowny faces or us fighting, because, like, so I've got a small group of people, I'm like, boy, you came from a shitty place. It's not your fault. You guys are not the ones to blame for the prices going up around you, for being thrown out of the community, and to go there and say... to reductionistly say, like, bro, you got to go. Uproot.
If you're talking
Leave
about
everything.
investment bankers, it's completely different.
No, I'm not talking about
okay.
I'm talking about the Taco Bell workers, where it's like, no, you guys
I think
have
they
to leave everything behind.
I think they should.
Right? And that sucks.
No, I think that's an opportunity. No, I actually think that's an
And
opportunity,
it's not
man.
their fault.
I know it's not your fault.
It's not
but
their fault.
like most opportunities you get in life, they're not your fault. So they just happen. So, don't beat yourself up over it. Just, take advantage. So...
Or deal with the situation that you're in, and it sucks.
Or tread water, or sink, yeah, or swim to shore, man.
But that's fine. Look,
Do it.
we're not like this far apart. We're like this far apart.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, if you don't have any policy recommendations against it, I mean, like rent control and stuff, then okay.
That never works.
Yeah. No,
Well, I mean, again.
doesn't work.
So if you want this, if you want this, and this, then you have to find a way to make it happen, right?
Honestly, you fix a lot of things by just sweeping up all the fentanyl addicts and putting them in asylums. So that would fix probably 90% of your fucking problems.
I'm not gonna disagree on that.
So let's start with that one, and then let's see what it looks like after that. So because that's like
fine.
That's like the dumpster fire that I'm getting from California. So that's starting to spread into Denver pretty thoroughly.
Did you see that in Aurora they have?
Yeah.
You saw this shit?
Yeah, the hotels.
The fucking Venezuelan gangs over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're registering them to vote.
Oh, I didn't see that part.
Yeah.
Well, what are they registering the vote for?
The answer is, if it's anything, it's wrong.
Well, I don't know about that, because Aurora might actually have ordinances in there that allow residents to vote. So, in their local elections.
nobody that's here illegally
Yeah.
should be voting.
Well, if you have an address, then,
Ever.
bro, that's up to the community. If the community, if the community is like 50% migrants, then,
I didn't say migrants. I'm saying illegal migrants.
well, I don't know. So I did
And
see
if
the
you are
thing
here
about getting stuff.
illegally, you should have no say.
Yeah. Unless town council says you do. This is why local elections matter. So,
Oh, I understand.
yeah.
All right, you got any problems?
No, I'm good.
You want to straighten me out about something?
I don't have anything.
All right, what about you?
I'm good, man.
All right, do
Yeah.
I owe anybody an apology?
You do not.
Do you owe you an apology?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. So is there anything else you want to say?
The artwork's in the can. So,
The what?
the artwork.
Oh, yeah. It's going.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I've been playing with the AI myself.
Have you?
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
You making movies?
No, not yet. So I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to generate images yet either. So
What are you playing on?
I'm just using ChatGPT to create case studies. So it's actually
Oh.
pretty cool. So I've got an interactive one that you can argue with, So, but we'll see. And I told you about that. That was an Italian company. So
Oh, was it?
yeah,
Did you
there's
remember the
Italian. No, I didn't. So, but it was Italian. I went to their website and they said, we're looking for academics who can help train AI. And it wanted people who were fluent in at least one other language.
Oh,
That's the tough one.
And I was like, no, I'm out. That's okay. I got a fucking job.
100%. The cool thing about those things is it's completely up to your schedule. So if you're like
Oh,
fucking around, it's like, oh, let me go do this.
I can then cut into my computer game in time.
Oh, fuck, I wouldn't tell you to do that.
Oh, man. I got to tell you about it later this week, man. I got a new game that's got its hooks in me bad. I'll tell you about it on Sunday. So,
But what if I want to download it and play it?
it's a mechanic game where you fix cars. So,
Go on.
wow.
yeah, it's called My Garage. It's a really cheesy looking, I don't know if it's Unreal, but it was made for VR, but you can use the mouse.
Okay.
And you got a garage and people bring you their broke ass cars. And sometimes it's like, I need my air filter changed. And it's like, okay. So you go to the car, you open the hood, you unbolt the things that you need to unbolt on that model of car. You look at the air filter, you go to the catalog, you order a new one, you put it in the car, and they give you $20. And then you button it all up and off you go, man. And then the next guy comes and he's like, I need my brakes changed. And you're like, huh, all right. So you pull off the wheels, you pull off the hubs, you pull off the caliper, you check the brake pads, you pull them out, you put them back in, you wrench it back on there, you connect the brake line, you check the brake fluid, you button him up, and he gives you $85.
That's it?
And then some guy comes and he's like, hey man, my transmission's fucked. Can you check it out? And you're like, well, what about it is fucked? And he's like, it's just fucked. And so you have to troubleshoot the fucking car. And so I've learned all about clutch plates and pressure plates and, the different transmission speeds and, like how to actually change, like out an entire, link system and do all the tie rods and stuff. And it's like, I'm going out and looking at my truck. I'm like, hey, I know what that is. I know what that is. I know what that is. They're all here.
Wow.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
You're getting real world skills, huh?
Yeah, but then you get addicted to it. So because once you get a little money, it's like, well, what can I do with this money? So you go over to the used car dealership and they got all these junker cars on there. And you're like, I could fix this.
Oh, I see.
You bring it back to the shop and you wrench on it. You order a couple parts and you flip it for more money. And you're like, oh, that's fucking sweet. So you go do a couple of those. And then you find out there's a junkyard. And you go to the junkyard and everything's trash, all right? But you can just scrounge through it and find all these. I was like, oh my god, this part usually costs me like $90 fucking. It's $1 here. I'm gonna load all these up into my truck. So and then go back and then someone shows up and says, I need an air filter. It's like, I got just one. Came from the junkyard. So I made more than $21 on that one. So because I already had parts, right? So but then you get one of these junker cars and rather than flipping it, you look at it, it's like, I want this to be my car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was like this thing, I'm going to turn this thing into the General Lee.
Yeah.
So I'm working on a Dodge Charger right now. So with their version of the Charger. And I just got the scoop on it. it won't turn over. I don't know what is wrong with it. So there you go. That's the game. So, and it looks awful, but it is insanely addictive because you learn shit. So, yeah.
Well, you and I talked about this.
Hey, I just found it the other day.
No. We talked about real life simulator games, how to make them interesting.
This one did it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
totally did it because
So
there's different cars on the lot every time you go. There's different shit in the junkyard every time you go. Customers will bring you cars that are different every single time.
Right.
And so you really do have to like get comfortable with like doing a bunch of different jobs on one car before you're like, yeah, I think I can redo your suspension. I think I can do that. So yeah. And then, you know, it's really frustrating when you wrench everything and you button everything up and then you give it back to the customer. He's like, I hear rattling. You're like, fuck. What did I not tighten? You know? And so you rip it all apart.
Does it give you directions on?
No.
So do you
You have to
YouTube?
look them up.
You can, no. So,
I said there was a...
there's a catalog that has the parts in it. There is no Haynes manual on how to tear down this V8. Okay, so I've gotten in the habit where I will rip the whole thing apart, lay out all the parts in order. Okay, so I know that I'm putting them back on in the right order. Okay, and then, you know, sometimes it's just like you're looking for something. It's like, this should come off. Why doesn't this come off? I don't understand why this doesn't come off. You know, and so you're looking all over with your headlamp, like for the one bolt you missed and shit. It's just like wrenching on a real car where you're like, why the fuck won't this caliper come off? What the fuck did I do wrong? How did I fuck this up? Oh God, I'm gonna have this towed now. I'm gonna have to explain those guys that I shouldn't be wrenching on my own car. So,
Wow.
but yeah, it's got its hooked into me bad. So because like I said today, I found a charger. And I was like, oh, I could make this in my car.
Yeah, I think the problem we got stuck on was like, how do we make, you know, applying for like a business license interesting?
You don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I almost quit this game, and it took about 2 hours before it was like, oh my God, I'm learning shit. This is cool. So
Now you didn't get mad. It's like, oh my God, now I can't play this.
no,
I'm
that would be,
learning
there's
something.
other games like that, but not this one. Yeah.
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 All right, cool. Oh, maybe I'll look into that. I don't know. I've been looking for something that grabbed me.
It's
and
the
nothing
graphics are
has.
horrifyingly bad, but all the models are really good. So
It doesn't matter at this point. Graphics
yeah,
are meaningless.
they are. So this one.
All right, you got to get home, don't you?
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, ish.
Yeah, ish.
Okay.
All right. I'm Pat.
I'm Will.
Hey, I'm Jeffrey.
I'm hitting the button.
All right.